so in today's video, we're going to be installing the VRSF 7.5-inch intercooler. And so right now, basically what we're going to do is, using MHD, we're going to see the differences on the oil temperature to see how much it goes up in a second to third gear pool. I know VRSF did it, and I'll throw up the pictures of what they say it does. It's kind of weird doing this because right now my state's on lockdown for the whole coronavirus thing. But, you know, good times to install an intercooler. So this is completely stock intercooler, and it is currently 45 degrees outside, which shout out Maryland for having inconsistent temperatures. It's like 80 one day and then like negative 34 the other day. So I know I kind of went crazy with the size of the intercooler, but go big or go home, and it's not like it's gonna damage anything for it being too much. But all right, so now my oil temps are currently at 86, and it's kind of a really bad day to do this considering the fact it's like raining outside, so it kind of sucks for pools. But all right, so right now the oil temp is at 106. Right here's oil temp. There's second. Let me get past these bumps. Okay, so now we're at 113. I think that was kind of a weird pool, but it's raining and stuff. So that was second to third, and then third gear pools. All right, so we got in the garage on the wood because, you know, the low life. So the first thing we gotta do is take off the front bumper. Here's a 7.5-inch one. I'll show the unboxing video right now because I know people like unboxing videos. 2 free day shipping, so cash money. And the box weighs at least like 50 pounds. So on top, we got the VRSF Intercooler paint stencil, which I believe was like $15 extra for literally just a piece of paper, which is kind of ridiculous. And I'm sure these are the couplers. Yeah, so we got the intercooler piping in here, all bagged up. There's 2 of them, one here, and then there's another one fitted in there. What else we got? Another one. These ones are silicone. This one's like a hard aluminum or something. Some bushings and some clamps. God dang. Oh my god. There she is. This thing is humongous. First thing I'm actually gonna do is tape this up, mask off all this, and paint this on here black. So, all right, so what I had to do with the stencil is put like roll it to where it's double-sided tape, kinda, in a way, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna put it on there like this and then tape around it, because if you don't do this, like for example, the F is gonna be really loose, and when you're spraying it, it might get underneath. So I definitely recommend doing this on the back side. So once you have the double-sided tape on the back, you're just gonna want to press it up exactly where you want it. Doing mine exactly in the middle. So I got it all masked off like this. I don't have anything masking off here, and I'm gonna be using this spray paint. It's just a gloss black, any surface, so I mean it'll work fine, and it's not like this is gonna take a bunch of paint in order to paint it. Probably like 3 coats max. You definitely don't want to go too heavy on the paint because you don't want it to drip down, because then it'll look super bad. So I just did a quick 2 sprays. All right, so I did 3 light coats on it. Alright, so here's how it turned out. Turned out pretty good. The R is a little bit low here, but I mean, it's gonna be underneath my front bumper, so it's not really gonna be that noticeable at all. I mean, from here it looks perfectly fine. I'm gonna go ahead and jack up, take that wheel off so I can get the bolts for the bumper off right here. Okay, so what you're gonna wanna do now is remove this panel here in the inner fender well. So it's a couple 8 mils there, one here. So just get this inner fender well off so you can go ahead and remove the 2 bolts here. So it's just the 2 8 mils right here. So there's one right here and one right here. All right, so I jacked it up and got the bolts off on both sides for the bumper. So this is loose here, and same thing with this side. I did have to take the wheels off to take the bolt out, so I just put it back so that way I can use the jack to help me with placing the intercooler. Either way, so I got this side off too. So next thing you want to do is go ahead and pop the hood and remove these 4 bolts here. And they are T30 Torx, by the way. There's gonna be some 8 mils underneath here that you're gonna want to go ahead and remove. So what you're gonna want to do now, after you remove the 4 Allens here, the 2 bolts here, 2 bolts over there, and the 8 mils underneath, you're gonna want to go ahead and take a flathead screwdriver and pry these out. I'm gonna pull this back. There's 2 springs connecting it. 2 tabs. You just pull up, just like that. Then you're going to let go of this so it goes back. And now you have this piece out. So you just want to go ahead and do that on both sides. So you got these removed. The bumper should come out really easily. Alright, and there it is, the bumper's off. And there's the little baby stock intercooler. So first thing we're gonna have to do is remove that one, obviously. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove the brake air ducts. So which is just literally 1 8 mil right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that side off and that side off. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop the belly pan underneath, which is just a bunch of 8 mils. So go ahead and get these off and that off. So the next step now is to go ahead and remove the intercooler piping. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this tab here. So I'm pulling this down. I'm just gonna pull the whole thing off. Okay. And then you're gonna do the exact same thing over here. Really bad lighting, but right here. Just wanna get that one out. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and take these tabs off here. So all you gotta do for that is pull this down and turn it down. And then this side's gonna be counterclockwise. And then now you can see that this is all loose. All right, so I got this piece out here with the 2 tabs. So I'm gonna set that aside. So next thing to do is gonna be to remove that bolt there. And it's a T20. So remove that one here, and then same thing on this side. Sorry for the bad lighting, but right there. Okay, so after you get the intercooler tubing out on this side and unbolt them, it should just drop out just like that. And there's a lot of dirt on mine. And I'm sure if you guys still have the stock intercooler, you have a lot of dirt too. So let's go ahead and compare. So here's the difference between stock and the FRS 7. I really just said FRS. Here's the difference between the stock and the VRSF 7.5 inch intercooler. This thing is humongous compared to that. It's gonna look so much better, but unfortunately it weighs so much more. She's gonna look sexy, so she's gonna be worth it. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is remove the hoses that are still connected. So in order to get this one out here, this connects all the way up to your, in my case, blow-off valve or charge pipe, I guess you could say. So how I'm gonna go ahead and remove it is I'm actually gonna go ahead and take off the clamp here. That'll allow me to just drop the whole piping out. So unfortunately, taking out that clamp and trying to push it down does not work. So what I'm gonna go ahead and try to do is take off this, and then the fan here, which is just some T20s. So one here, and then on the fan it's one here. So I removed this here, and I removed that bolt. And then to the fan, there is another bolt. There's a bolt that goes right there, and that's also a T20. So that gets this loose here. And all right, so I got the fan out. So it was a little bit tricky, but I unplugged this, and on the intercooler piping, there's a little clip that holds it to right here. So you have to take this here. See, that's where it clips in. So you just push that down, or you push it up, either way, and it works fine. But so now this leaves me plenty of room to take that out. But one of the tricky parts on taking this out was this tab here. So this tab, you on the one that would be closest to you, so the highest, you pull this towards the motor, and then you pull it up a little bit. And then this tab on the radiator, you're gonna want to pull that away from it too. So there's like two little clips right here that is kind of tricky. But yeah, finally got that out. So now that leaves us plenty of room. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one out, and this one you 100% have to cut off. So I'm gonna figure out a way how to do that. All right, it took me far too long to get this out, but I finally cut this using, because I don't have a pneumatic like little grinder thing cutter, because we're in freaking quarantine, so I couldn't even go buy one. But anyways, so pretty much what I used was this and a couple of Dremels sanding things, and that did the job. I mean, it took far too long. Strongly recommend using a pneumatic little grinder thing if you have it and if you can fit it in there. Mine's way too big. So yeah, now I have the hoses off there, and all the hoses off here. I guess the next thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is just start cutting away and making it fit. And at a certain point, I'm gonna put in the VRSF fittings and go from there. All right, so the first cutting I'm gonna do without even measuring is just cutting these fins off and getting them as close as I can to the top. And I'll probably cut to about here for now, even though I know that's not gonna fit. So trying to mock it up like this, I'm definitely gonna have to cut more into the curve over here, and same as far as over here. So really at this point, it's just a cut and test fit and just keep going until it fits. Something that you're gonna have to relocate when doing this is the temperature sensor right there. So that hangs down right there. So you just gotta unplug that. So I removed the sensor here. It's just two tabs you wanna pull apart from each other. It comes out really easily. So I'm not gonna worry about that yet. All right, so I finally got this thing to bolt up. So it was pretty difficult doing this by myself, but I just used things to hold it up. But it is on its own weight now. There's two bolts that VRS provides you with. It gives you these, but I could not make it work with these because the thread just wouldn't go in far enough to hold it up. But it's finally in there after a lot of cutting and a lot of time. So this is what I had to cut. So it's gonna be kind of difficult to see, but this is on top. This is on top right here. I cut a lot of it on top there, and on the sides a lot was cut off too, and over here, and this whole obviously bottom part is gone. Another good tip is the intercooler is right here and the radiator is right here, and there's barely any room for the stepped part, like the lower stepped part, to fit in there. So there's this piece right here that goes on the bump of the radiator to just keep out dirt and stuff. So I ripped this off, and that gave me that much more room to fit the screw in there, and that actually helped a lot. So I mean, fitting that in there is gonna be kind of different for everyone. It's just a lot of trimming and a lot of like feeling around to figure out how to get it up more. That was that was the hardest part, definitely. But yeah, it's finally in there. So first look, there it is. Looks pretty sick. And here's the bolts. One right there and the one on the other side. So I'm gonna tighten those down as much as I can. Put these back in because it was pretty difficult getting them in, getting the intercooler to fit up there with these in there. So we'll see. So I finally got all the intercooler piping in there. So actually how I did it was I bolted this in there without putting any of the piping in there. But then I put this bottom one on there first, the silicone one. I put that on there. Then I put this hard pipe on there that goes to the charge pipe. And then lastly, I put this one on. But unfortunately, how you have to put that one on with the way I did it is I had to take the bolt back out and drop this down. So that way I could squeeze that in there. But other than that, it was fairly easy putting those back in there. I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna go ahead and put the temperature sensor. So what I'm gonna do for the temperature sensor is this is the passenger side brake duct. So all I'm gonna do is drill a hole in the side of here, and I'm just gonna place this in there and probably put some glue on it just to hold it in there. I mean, it doesn't really need to be super stable. It's just a little sensor, but glue should definitely just do the job. I'm actually gonna go ahead and use this circular part here where it's flat already. So a 1/2-inch drill bit actually worked perfect. So this, I'm just gonna get it down to this part. I'm sorry, it's not focused. But pretty much I'm just gonna get it down to where it just fits this part here. So it fits in there perfectly, and it's actually kind of snug in there. So just like that here. So now all I'm gonna do is just glue it in. So that's all glued up there. I'm just gonna let it dry. So I went ahead and put back the fan already in this inlet piece here. So all that was the bolt here again, the tab, and then the bolt underneath. And then of course this was just the bolt here and the bolt there. So everything up here is tidied up how it should be. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put back this side, and I still have the other side over there drying from the glue. So now all we're really left to do is go ahead and throw back those two things, and then the bumper, and then that's really it. It's been like an all-day project, but it's finally coming to an end. Alright, so moving the temperature sensor here was actually a pretty good idea. It worked out really well. There's nothing really back there to where it could hit it. So right there it should be fine. And as far as the wiring, I kind of just shoved it down in there. It's fine. Alright, I finally have the car all back together in one piece. And I started this at like probably 1 o'clock is when I really started. So it is now 12:30. So it pretty much took me 12 hours to do this by myself, which is stupid long, but I got it done and we're quarantined, so it's not like I could have done anything else different. So I'm gonna continue this tomorrow and go on a test drive and all that fun stuff. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so it's the next day and she's still looking sexy. It's too bright, you guys can barely even see it, but here's the first startup. I just pushed it out of the garage last night because it was way too loud. Here's the first startup. Up a little bit, and then we're gonna go use the MHD to compare the oil temps after a pool. It's a lot warmer out today than it was last night. It's 56 degrees, so that will make it vary a little bit. If anything, it'll put more stress on the new intercooler since it's hotter outside, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so right now we are at 75 oil temp. I let it warm up now a little bit, so any better on temps? Because I know last summer there would be times where it would get pretty hot, like almost like 240 degrees, maybe even 250 sometimes, which was not good, obviously. All right, I'm gonna try to get a pool right here real quick. We're at 88 degrees. Do a little third to fourth real quick. It's still at 88. I'm gonna get another pool on the main road. So, all right, coming out on the main road here now. We're at 120 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna give it a good pull and try my best with one hand. I'll just put it in sports mode so that way I don't have to shift. So I'm gonna give it a good rip. We're at 122. And we're at 124 after that pull. Let me give it another. It's running good. We're at 126 now. So I mean, I guess I'll have to compare the other footage. I mean, that seems pretty good. The real test would be when it's really hot out this summer. Maybe I'll make another video on comparing it to like really hot weather and seeing how long it takes to get up to temps. Because I feel like by now it'd be more than 130 degrees. I feel like it's pretty low, so I really don't know completely yet, but yeah, so I'll just compare that data to what I got now. So that's the end of the video. Drop a like for your boy, because I spent like 12 hours on that. But that's the end of this video. Catch you on the flip. We got more heat coming your way.